Epstein's conspiracy confirmed. Target fears the Budlight treatment and makes emergency calls to change their LGBTQ displays. And Dominion Voting Systems says they may have to close their doors and shut down their company after winning $787 million dollars in a defamation lawsuit from Fox News. We're going to talk about all of that and more. I'm your host, Hyde. This is Hide and Seek Media. Hello, all you beautiful and amazing people. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to another live stream. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you get notified anytime I drop a new video or go live. If you are already subscribed to YouTube, head on over to Rumble and subscribe to that channel as well. Over there on Rumble, I'm allowed to say a little bit more than I am on YouTube. So there's some content there that you won't be able to find here on this YouTube channel. Also, if you like all of that content and you like checking that out and you want more, you can head on over to Locals and become a member of my community. With your membership, not only will you get access to all of the videos I put up on Locals and Rumble, and I'm an idiot because I have no microphone here. Hey, for all of you watching, that was great. No microphone. I don't even check to see if this thing is working. Wow. What a gaffe that was, huh? So, thanks for tuning in, all you people. If you couldn't hear me before, thank you for tuning in and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Hyde. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, the blackmail theory from Jeffrey Epstein, how it's been confirmed. The Dominion voting systems say they're going to be able to close their doors because they can't ever recover from the defamation that they received from Fox News and other media outlets over the 2020 election. And Target, fearing the Bud Light treatment, is reevaluating how they're going to display their LGBTQ pride displays in their store. We're going to talk about all that. Now, obviously, I had that funny little gaffe there at the beginning of this show, and hey, what can I say? I'm still new to this, and I'm getting into it. So I'll work out all the kinks. Just stick with me, right? That's all I'm asking. Stick with me. So the first thing I want to talk about today is Jeffrey Epstein, right? Now, we all know the conspiracy theories and the stories behind Epstein and the Lolita Express and Pedo Island and all that stuff, right? But there's a lot of theories out there that say Jeffrey Epstein was working for an intelligence agency, whether it be the CIA or a foreign intelligence agency, and that the reason why this high school math teacher goes from obscurity to billionaire playboy in a matter of, just a few years, makes everybody wonder, where did he get his money? How did he make his money? Like, how did he gain all of this influence all of a sudden? And they speculate that he could be a foreign intelligence asset. There's even speculation that it was the Middle East. Excuse me. One of the countries in the Middle East that may be doing it. Now, I kind of see that theory and can work that theory out because of who Epstein associated with. Now, the reason I say we have confirmation on the blackmail theory is because of the story that I found from the Insider. It was originally posted at Wall Street Journal, but I found it here on Business Insider. Jeffrey Epstein once seemed to threaten to reveal an affair Bill Gates apparently had with a Russian bridge player. Now, they go on to say Bill Gates had an affair with a Russian bridge player around 2010, according to the Wall Street Journal. The woman later met Jeffrey Epstein in 2013, and he paid for her to attend coding camp. Epstein asked Gates to repay him for the camp in 2017, implying he would expose the affair. They say the Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates had an affair around 2010, yada, 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 right? And so, basically, it was a shakedown. It was blackmail, right? Epstein was like, hey, we've been kind of hanging out for a little bit now, and I met this girl, and I sent her to coding camp and all that, and she seems to know you and is making some wild accusations now. And I would hate for that to get out into the media, So, like, if you could just kind of, I don't know, pay for her school, then like I think she would probably just be quiet, right? And like that's probably what he was doing. That's probably how Epstein gained all of his influence was through blackmail. I would imagine you get some of these people like Bill Gates or Alan Dershowitz or Bill Clinton, or a slew of other people who had gone to Jeffrey Epstein's island over the years, right? Or his ranch in New Mexico, who may have been compromised in some way, shape, or form. That's very, very likely, right? Especially when we look at the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, right? And how no client list has ever come out of that. No other prosecutions have ever come out of that. And I don't know of a time when somebody being convicted of orchestrating and running a child sex ring, I don't know of a time when they were the only ones to ever get convicted. I'm pretty sure it trickled down and they got the people who are actually being what's the word I'm looking for here? Not consumers, but you know what I mean, like the people that were actually participating in the acts and being with these young children, boys and girls. And so it seems to me like that Epstein theory was viable before we got this story. And this story has been confirmed by a spokesperson from Bill Gates. The affair was real. The email from Epstein was real. So we know now with that confirmation that we can then apply that to all of Jeffrey Epstein's shady business dealings, right? Or associations with people of power. It's more than likely he got them in a compromising position at one point and was able to use that to leverage them to do whatever he wanted them to do. And that's the scarier thing about this whole story, right? Is what were these people doing for Jeffrey Epstein to keep all of this quiet? Besides paying him money. When you have people of power like Bill Clinton, right, who can influence a lot of people, a lot of politicians, a lot of policy, imagine what you can do with that. Imagine the kind of power that someone like that possesses. That's scary to think about what those people were doing. What was Bill Gates doing behind the scenes, right? To facilitate whatever Jeffrey Epstein wanted or whoever Jeffrey Epstein worked for wanted, right? Sorry. I mean, there are rumors, right, that he was an intelligence officer, right? That's a ongoing conspiracy theory. Let me try and maybe connect a couple of dots and see what you think about whether it's possible, right? Jeffrey Epstein met Ghislaine Maxwell just after he had linked up with Lex Grossman, I think is his name. I can't remember. The guy who owned Victoria's Secret. I can't remember his name. Lex something. Anyways, after they had linked up and he had basically blackmailed, I think that's what he did, was blackmail that guy into letting him take control of his finances and whatever. And then that's how he used the money to further his portfolio and make himself richer. And then he meets Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, this is after Maxwell's father had mysteriously passed away. And to understand the connection between Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and a foreign intelligence agency, you have to understand where Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, fits into this. Epstein and Robert Maxwell, I don't think ever met each other. But Robert Maxwell was a media tycoon in Britain. I think he owned a couple of newspapers. The Mirror, I think, was one of them, or magazines or whatever. But he was, in the media space, and he was big. Like, he was well known, and it was rumored that he was an asset for MI6, or British intelligence. It was also rumored that not only did he work for MI6, but he was a double agent and also worked for Russia. And then on top of that, there was rumors that he also worked for Mossad, Israeli intelligence. So, and some say that he worked for all three intelligence agencies at the same time, playing them all like, off of each other, and feeding them information at the right times so that he could, then write stories about what was going to happen, and have a little bit of inside information, and create that wealth through his media organizations. Ghislaine was Robert Maxwell's favorite child. He named the boat that he died on after her. And his death was a mysterious death. He died from a mysterious boating accident where it is said that he slipped and fell overboard. Yeah. Okay. I don't know about that. You take rumors of him being tied with intelligence agencies, a mysterious accidental death that nobody witnessed in international waters. Yeah, that seems kind of skeptical, right? Kind of shady. Let's take the world as a whole and look at people in general, and let's look at the reality of some of the things that these agencies have done that have been already exposed, right? And apply that to this theory. It's very possible that Maxwell was, because right before his death, he was going through, it had been exposed that his whole enterprise, his whole business was a Ponzi scheme. It was, he was flat broke, and there was no money, no pensions for any of his employees. All of that. There was thousands of people who were going to lose their savings and all that. So, like, it was a big scandal. And then mysteriously, he just has an accident and falls overboard on his boat. Yeah. It's more than likely he had betrayed one of the agencies, and they started to ruin his business. And then he made some kind of threat. Probably, I have this information and I will go public and blah, blah, blah. And they took him out. That's my speculation based on what I've read about Robert Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell and that whole ordeal, right, that went on. But the thing is Robert Maxwell was tied to the royal family. He knew Diana, right? And then there's speculation that the royal family had Diana killed because of who she was seeing at the time after she had left and divorced Prince Charles. So there's a lot of those kinds of theories that kind of link all of these together, right? Because Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein were good buds, right? Well, there's another link. How does Epstein get ties to the royal family? Through Ghislaine Maxwell, who knew the royal family because of her ties, or her dad, and the ties that he had. So you see how some of these puzzle pieces, they look obscure when you just set them off to the side and don't look at them. But when you start to weave them together, it paints a picture, right? At least a picture I see. Now, I believe that Epstein was working for the intelligence agencies, but as a freelancer. I think he figured out this scheme on how to, manipulate men of power by getting them in compromising positions and then blackmailing them. And because it was something that he enjoyed doing too, he could just lure them in. He wasn't afraid to be exposed because he was the one that controlled all of the information. So, he's already been exposed, right? At this point, he's already been exposed. He was arrested for not child trafficking, sex trafficking, or whatever, but the procurement of underage prostitution or something like that, right? In Florida. So the theory that Epstein was blackmailing high-powered people to gain influence and power seems to be correct, at least according to the Wall Street Journal and the spokesperson for Bill Gates. But I want to know what you guys think. Am I fishing here? Am I forcing puzzle pieces together, or did I put a couple of pieces together to give you a decent view of a picture? Let me know in the comments down below. But I want to jump to this next story, okay? Because I found this very interesting. Target makes emergency calls after backlash to tuck-friendly bathing suits and other Pride products. The company is terrified of a Budlight situation, a Target insider told Fox News. So I have this story here from timcast.com, and they go on to say, retail giant Target is directing some stores to relocate Pride-related merchandise in an effort to appease customers outraged by gender expression products and LGBTQ-themed children's items. So they go on to report, the company's LGBTQ-themed items were released this month and include tuck-friendly bathing suits, chest binders, and packing underwear, along with gender-fluid mugs and greeting cards with messages like, I'm so happy that you're queer and you're my chosen family, and a queer all-year calendar. Okay. I get the whole pride thing, but imposing it on kids is taking it too far. Like, people have to understand this. Imposing your ideals of a sexual nature on children is wrong. It's wrong for heterosexual people to do it, which means it's wrong for LGBTQ people to do it. When are you guys going to get this through your head? Now, these companies are starting to understand because we're speaking with our dollars and people like me are speaking out about it online. Well, Bud Light losing billions of dollars in revenue over the Dylan Mulvaney thing. And then the whole Ford Raptor, that is going to affect Ford's business too. Target doesn't want any of that noise. And so right now they're moving their displays. But that's not going to be good enough. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who enjoy shopping at Target. And for those people who watch this live stream or catch this later on, think about what you're helping to promote when you shop at Target. You're helping to promote tuck-friendly bathing suits for children. That's not right. You have to look at all the evidence when it comes to children and gender dysphoria. What's going on in our country when it comes to the softening of society is embarrassing. And it's shameful. We need to fix it. It's something that we need to stop. Because all it's doing is weakening our society as a whole. When you shove stuff like this in kids' face over and over and over and over again, they're going to gravitate towards it. That's how children work. And that they know that. That's why they do these things. That's why they have chest binders and tuck-friendly bathing suits so that little boys can run around in girls' bathing suits and feel like a little girl. Well, let me tell you, most studies show that anywhere from 80 to 90% of all children grow out of that once they hit puberty. Now, if you stall that out by giving kids puberty blockers and hormone treatments, then they're not going to develop the correct way. You're influencing their natural development. To me, it seems like it's being done purposely to soften this country, to make men weak and people in general so soft that any negativity puts them in a whirlwind, right? Like just completely dishevels them and it's just so hard for them to get past it, right? Like it is creating weak-minded people. This country doesn't need weak-minded people. It needs strong-minded people, strong-willed people, people who understand that no matter how much you come at me, I'm going to stick by my beliefs. Now, if this is what you want, if this is what you believe as an adult, that you identify as a certain way, then stick by it, stand by it, and but do it honestly, right? Do it truthfully. Don't hide behind fake attacks and the genocide of the LGBTQ community, because that's just a flat out lie. I'm going to try to keep it as kid friendly as I can during the live stream. So yeah, but Target realizes that what happened to Bud Light could definitely happen to them. And Target's not near as big as Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light. You don't see people walking around with t-shirts on going, I shop at Target, or I love Target, or Target's the place to go, right? Nobody really wears those shirts. Nobody's promoting Target out there. But Bud Light, come on. That was a globally recognized brand. And you saw what happened to them. And they didn't even roll out the cans. It was one can made with Dylan Mulvaney's face on it and a couple of, ads or whatever. And that little bitty spark lit a grassroots fire that has been burning hot now for like 2 months? And it's still going strong. Bud Light is still losing money. And we got to keep that going. Right? Now, I'm not calling for a complete boycott of InBev beverages, right? You want to drink, Stella Artois or Modelo or whatever, go ahead. I don't care. InBev owns a bunch of different brands. That's fine. Bud Light is the brand that did this. So Bud Light is the brand that should be affected. And I'm all for that. Like, besides, Bud Light was piss water. Who really drank that stuff anyways? LGBTQ people, right? Well, or people soft like LGBTQ people, because it's basically water, carbonated water. You might as well be drinking O'Doul's or sparkling water or something. It was terrible. Sparkling water is actually better than Bud Light, in my opinion. But again, Target saw what happened to Bud Light, and they started seeing the backlash. I started seeing it, and just scrolling through my reels on Instagram, there's 2 or 3 that pop up almost every day now. Hey, ladies, I know we're going to hate this. I know you're going to hate it, but we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to boycott Target because of what they're doing with this LGBTQ stuff, right? And I'm all for it. Speak with your dollars. Let the company know this is not acceptable. Not in our society. This is not acceptable. Not to children. You want to advertise this stuff and support Pride Month? Do it in the grown-up section. Do it in the adult section where that stuff belongs. Not in the children's section. Now you're just grooming kids. You are just now part of the grooming apparatus in this country. Don't be part of that, because trust me, there's a lot of Americans out here who are not going to tolerate it. Left, right, center, it doesn't matter. When you start attacking kids, you start going after kids, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you stand on. It's as simple as that. Parents are parents first. Before any other ideology or political party or anything like that, they are parents first. Now, you have some parents who agree with this stuff. And in my opinion, those people need to be mentally evaluated and then possibly having their kids taken away from them for a little while. Because to me, promoting this stuff, forcing this stuff on your kids is almost like child abuse. You are mentally abusing your children when you do that, in my opinion. But what do you guys think, right? Is Target making the right call here by just moving the product, or should they remove the product from the children's section altogether? I say they remove it from the children's section altogether, but I want to know what you guys think, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And hey, if you like what you see so far in the live stream and you're enjoying the show, hit that like button, man. I need all the interactions I can get to kind of help promote my channel and help me grow. So smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. I'm not watching them now, but I'll check them later. And I love to engage with my viewers, so I will respond. So make sure to leave a comment. We do have the comments on, right? Yeah, comments are on. Okay. So let me know what you guys think about Target and that whole situation. Now I want to jump to this next story about Dominion. And before I get to Dominion, I want to put this caveat out there. I want to preface all of this by saying I am not saying that Dominion voting machines changed votes in the 2020 election. I'm not saying that. That's not what this is about. But I heard about this story and I found it in Time magazine. Dominion CEO predicts business ultimately goes to zero because of 2020 election lies. They go on to say, a month ago, Dominion voting system seemed like a dragon slayer. The conservative news behemoth Fox News had just agreed to pay Dominion $787.5 million in a settlement, or to settle a defamation lawsuit that was hours away from going to trial. It was the largest such settlement ever announced by a media company. And yet, to Dominion CEO John Poulos, even that payday likely won't be enough to save his company. The reputational damage Dominion has endured is just too severe, he tells Time in a strikingly pessimistic interview about the company's future. Now, I want to take a pause right here, because if what was said about your company was defamation and it was not true, how did it damage your reputation? If something is untrue and you can unequivocally prove it, how is your reputation damaged? I don't understand the logic behind his reasoning here. Time goes on to report. It's just easier for our customers to use something that's not Dominion, Pujols says. We just know that our business ultimately goes to zero. Since Pujols incorporated Dominion 2 decades ago, which I don't think that's correct. I'll have to look at it because
Oh, that might be correct. Let's just go on here. Since Pujols incorporated Dominion 2 decades ago, the company has grown into one of the largest providers of electronic voting hardware and software in America. But it wasn't until the 2020 election that Dominion became a household name after former President Donald Trump and his allies voiced conspiracy theories about it, including baseless allegations that the company helped rig the election by flipping votes for Trump to Biden. Some outlets like Fox News began to spread those claims further, sparking public anger against the company. Earlier this year, Shasta County in Northern California ended its contract with Dominion despite not having a replacement vendor lined up. Pujols describes a scenario to Time in which more customers begin to flee. He says the company's products are sound and that most of the government entities around the country that use them wouldn't resort to terminating their contracts early. But it's a different story when those contracts come up for renewal. So, but that's again, baseless allegations, right? Is how Time Magazine framed it. But they're not baseless because we saw it happen in Michigan, right? There was that county that had all of those votes flipped from Trump to Biden, and what they called a mistake, a human error, right? So that doesn't make it baseless anymore. There was an instance in which that happened. So in any logical mind, right? Anyone who looks at it from a logical perspective, you have to provide unequivocal proof that your machines don't do that and that it's not possible for that to happen within your machines, which means you have to demonstrate how safe they are and then allow certain hackers or other entities to attempt to do what they say is being done. And if they can't do it, then you have proven your point that your machines are safe. If you don't allow those experiments or processes to happen, then it leaves a shadow of doubt as to whether you're telling the truth. And that's all we're asking for is the truth. Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is. Open the code to anybody so that anybody can look through your source code and see if there's any vulnerabilities or any ways that those claims that those people made can actually be true. Not that it happened in 2020, but that the possibility is there. Because you're claiming that the possibility is not even there. That it's impossible for what they're claiming to happen. But you've never actually proven that to the public. And so that's where that shadow lies. That's where his skepticism comes in, right? Because until you prove that and you have to use those machines from that election. You can't just grab another machine, a brand new machine, and go, look, you have to use those machines and that software from that election to prove that, right? You can't just grab any new machine and use that. It has to be that equipment. If you do that, you clear your name. It's as simple as that. Here's the proof. Watch. Bam. You can't do this. You can't do that. No matter how hard you try, I'll let you do it. If you don't do that, the shadow is always going to loom over whether it's capable or not, whether it's possible or not. Because I have seen videos of Georgia election officials being able to adjudicate an entire batch of misscanned ballots to one person all at once. So it is possible for humans to flip votes within the system using the adjudication process. So the machine may not have been programmed to do that, but the capability for humans to do it is there. Correct? If I'm mistaken, somebody let me know in the comments, because I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. That the humans can adjudicate whatever ballots they want that go to the adjudication folder, and then they can determine on their own who the vote was for. Well, if we have an instance like we did in Arizona, where you have 19-inch ballots printed on 20-inch paper and the scanner doesn't read it and it kicks it to the adjudication folder for someone to look at because there's something wrong with it, and it does this 20 to 50 ballots per batch, right? And then you get a couple thousand ballots here in this county, a couple thousand ballots in this county, here or there. And then you have to have somebody adjudicate them all. If the adjudication process isn't done properly, if there's not Democrat and Republican poll watchers there to watch the process, then how can we be sure the process was done correctly? And just for reference, if people don't remember, there's the story that out of Philadelphia in the 2020 election where the Republican poll watchers were not allowed in the building to do their job. And then in Detroit, remember when they put up the big old boards on the windows so people couldn't see what they were doing when they were counting the votes? So, there's some skeptical stuff to give people reason to pause. That we're not saying that your machines are the problem. We're saying the people operating those machines are the problem. But you haven't proven that your machines aren't the problem. You're claiming they're not. But there's never been a process done where it's like, here, we will put it to the test. You can bring 50 white hat hackers in and let them try to do what you say was done to our machines and see if it happens. If they can do it, well, now you have some questions to answer. If they can't do it, you're vindicated and you can move on. The reason that hasn't happened, and the reason why he believes that his company is going to go to zero, makes me wonder. What is that reason? Why won't you do that test? Why won't you prove the ability of your machines? Why do you think your company is going to go to zero based on the defamation of your reputation? I know people, there's a possibility that, states pull away from Dominion because they don't want to seem like they're, cheating or whatever, or not cheating. That's not the right word. They don't want to have any hint of impropriety, right? They want to make sure that there's no reason for anyone to question the election at all, right? So if we don't use Dominion voting machines, then they don't have any reason to question it, right? I understand there's some people that have that logic, but you have to defend your company better than just suing people, right? Because I think the reason why Fox settled was because they didn't want the stuff from their end to be public. And so they said, okay, I don't want this aired in court. I don't want it to be, because it'll become public information, and we don't want that. So let's just settle out of court, whatever it's going to cost. I don't know that everyone that Dominion is suing is going to do that. I don't know that everyone that Smartmatic is suing is going to do that. And if you want to hear my theory on Dominion and Smartmatic and all of that, head on over to Locals and check out the video I put up over there. It really goes in depth into Dominion and Smartmatic and kind of lays out why their defamation lawsuits can be fought against. I'll just say that. But yeah, man, Dominion, if you believe this is the end of your company, then I have to ask why you believe that. What do you think? Your reputation is only damaged until you repair it. If you're not doing anything to repair the damage done to your reputation outside of suing the people that did the so-called damage, that's not repairing it. People look at that and go, okay, yeah, you went and cried to mommy. Oh, I'm going to go tell. That's what you did. And I want you punished. I'm going to go run and tell the principal that you pushed me down so that you get detention or whatever. Like you get in trouble for it. Like that's all running to the courts and suing for defamation is. You're not repairing your reputation by suing somebody for defamation. And it's not even going to court, right? It didn't even go to trial. So it was Fox giving in and say, okay, we will just say we defamed you and pay the money, and because we don't want what could become public to become public, right? So we'll just pay you the money and we'll fire Tucker and we'll, push Dan Bongino out and we'll continue on with our goals, right? And to me, if there was no truth to the claims, right? If they were actually and honestly baseless, like they say, then I don't see how Dominion would have no problem repairing the damage done to their reputation. But like I said, what do I know? I just read articles on the internet. But I want to know what you guys think too. Do you think Epstein was a Mossad spy? Or was he working for the CIA? Or was he just a ruthless guy who found a way to manipulate rich, powerful people into giving him money and getting what he wanted? What do you think? You think Target is doing the right thing by moving the display, or should they get rid of it? I want to know in the comments. And Dominion voting systems. Is their reputation irreparable? Or, with the things I laid out, can they repair their reputation enough to be used in future elections in this country? I want to know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think about the live stream, the show in general, me, my presentation, everything. Let me know. Leave them comments down below. If you like the show, you like the live stream, you enjoy the channel, smash that like button. Share this live stream with all your friends on all social media platforms. I really need the help and support. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I'll catch you later. Peace.